Welcome back to The Edge. Hey, today's show is all about benefit luncheons and peanut butter consumption. And say that in 2 lines fast. First, we'll be joined by the team from the Christamore House Guild to discuss the upcoming book and author benefit. Then we get wacky with Paul Poteet, as usual. Finally, we'll eat peanut butter with a spoon and try to conduct an interview as we welcome Be Happy Peanut Butter. All that and more today on The Edge.
Your audio and video source featuring Indianapolis tech trends, marketing industry champions, and business innovation. This is Edge of Indy. Broadcasting from Edge Media Studios. Let's get today's conversation started.
Welcome. Welcome back to The Edge. Hey, for everybody who hasn't come across this show before, we're live on Facebook, as well as always on iTunes and podcasts everywhere. Everywhere we are. If you haven't come across this show is about focusing on Indianapolis entrepreneurs, innovators, movers, and shakers here in Indy. We feature people and organizations that make Indianapolis a great place to live, work, and visit. So we're always talking about how to focus on local business in Indianapolis, and we recommend choosing local and choosing local often. My name's Aaron Sparks. I'm the CEO of Site Strategics and Edge Media Studios, and this show is being broadcast through our downtown studio at Edge Media Studios. So if you're interested in what we can do for you on that front, give us a shout over at edgemedia.studio. To my right is the Director of Marketing Services, Brittany Simpson. How are we doing?
Hanging in there.
It's like you have a little bit of tobacco between your cheek and gum.
It is like a mint, so that I don't cough.
I appreciate that. You're not feeling that good today.
Well, I have malaria, so I'm being treated for malaria. The antibiotic that I'm on treats sinus infections and also malaria.
Didn't know that before we got in the booth with a sealed environment here.
Just in case, you might always be carrying malaria, so it's good to treat it.
Did not know that.
Right.
Good thoughts for reference, everybody. You could very well be catching malaria.
Not for me. I'm being treated.
Okay, thank you. In-house, we have someone who is yet to be infected. That's Kara Kavensky.
She looks very healthy.
Yes, she does. Kara Kavensky, CEO of NX Innovate Ltd. How are you doing, Kara?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome. Kara, you are not a stranger to this show.
No, I am not. So I appreciate you allowing me to come back.
Of course.
Are you feeling well?
I am. Thank you. And I intend to keep it that way.
We're going to ask you at the end of the show if you have the same feelings. So Kara's been with us whenever we went out to NX3, as well as showcasing a number of contributors and movers and shakers in Indianapolis. So we always appreciate you coming back around. And you brought with you a number of individuals as well as a really cool concept. So we'd like to introduce, is it Dina or Dina?
Dina.
Dina Silver.
Why would it be Dina? Let's play a game called Why Would It Be Dina?
Oh, she's giggling at me. Did you hear that? She's literally giggling at me.
I like that game name.
Oh.
And I'm sorry to be missing peanut butter.
We can send you some.
Yeah.
Well, Dinah, how you doing?
In the Kitchen with Dinah. What's that song?
Whatever. Hey, Dina Silver, she's the author, No Time to Blink. Thanks so much for joining us today on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. This is super fun. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. Well, we got a full house today, all here to promote the book and author benefit hosted by the Christamore House Guild. Can somebody give us kind of a lay of the land in terms of what the Christamore House Guild is all about, and we'll talk about the event that's going to be coming up?
Yes, thank you for asking. So this is the 38th annual Christamore House Guild Book and Author event. Mm-hmm. All proceeds from this event go to sponsoring fully funding scholarships that are awarded to students in the Hawville area and neighborhood. That's where Christamore House is located. And it was founded by 2 students from Butler University over 100 years ago.
Go Dogs.
Very cool. Very cool.
And okay, so many of the Christamore House Guild's programs focus on things like personal and family development. Can you give us more specific information on all the areas in which those programs really reach? Because it's expansive, kind of what they're doing.
Well, what Christamore House does is really serve the community of Hawville in a really meaningful way. They offer many very beneficial programs to the neighborhood, and they also include the PAL boxing group that's upstairs in the attic. So there's early education. There's a facility across the street for caring for the elderly, basically. There's a home across the street, plus the Christamore House focuses on education and creating a holistic source of basically a community center to support the neighborhood and the needs there in the area.
When you say boxing,
I mean boxing.
you mean with your fist or putting things in boxes?
No, I mean boxing, like the exercise.
Got it.
I've trained these kids before, so
Thought I would clarify that.
Yeah,
because
no, it's an amazing program for the kids, and it's for older teens. These are high school age and up, and it's their sport. It's unbelievable. But specifically with the Christamore House Guild was formed to support the programs, the early education to all areas. There's several parties around the year that the guild members are involved in, a lot of fundraising efforts, and it's a really important component of the community. And then those of us that support those programs are really happy to be involved with this process, specifically with the book and author event that we have coming up. And this is the 38th annual, and it's April 20th. Through this program and sponsoring the scholarships, that's encouraging to the students in the area that there's another means to go on to earn a 4-year degree, past their high school. And through the programs that we offer, or through the scholarship, we are able to support that community in a really meaningful way. And several of the people that have benefited from the educational advantages that they've received from Christamore House come back and volunteer.
Oh, very
so
cool.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, feedback into the ecosystem. Give
Exactly,
back to it. Yeah.
exactly. They're definitely giving back. So the Christamore House is really doing its job well.
Excellent. What a great mission. Now, the book and author benefit that's coming up April 20th is at the Indiana Roof Ballrooms, and attendees there will be able to rub elbows with authors. So tell us more about that.
Much
Yeah.
like Dinah.
See?
See, let's please call her.
I
Dina.
answer to a whole variety of names.
Dina, I'm your friend.
So this year we have some amazing authors. Dina Silver is one of them with her 6th novel. We're really blessed to be able to have gotten her as one of our authors this year.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I'd actually like to defer to Dina. She is a Purdue grad, and she counts as our local author this year, which is fantastic and has a really great following. I've heard a lot of buzz about her coming. In addition to Dina, we have several of the top bestsellers right now on the list. So we have The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. He's coming. Laura Lippman wrote Sunburn, The Room on the Rue Amelie by Kristen Harmel, The Home for Unwanted Girls by Joanna Goodman, The Wife Between Us, a very popular thriller, Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanen. And this list is unbelievable. And then to have Dina join us, she has a unique story and she's super fun. I love watching and following her on social media. So Dina, I'd love for you to share some input that you have.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, of course, I have my book next to me. Here it is. Yay. It's much more attractive now. I'm so excited for next week. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I'm so honored that myself and the book was chosen this year. I had heard about this event a few years ago from a girlfriend of mine who lives in Indianapolis, told me about it, and it's just kind of been on my radar. And it's such a fantastic event. And when I say it's an honor to be there, it really is, because it's a juried event basically, and the books are submitted and chosen, and it's just not anyone gets to be involved. So I'm super excited and humbled to be with the other authors there. My book is fiction. All my books are fiction, but they are all inspired by true stories, real stories that either happened to friends of mine or acquaintances. This book in particular is based on something that happened to a friend of mine. She was abducted by her father as a very young girl a long time ago. She's about my age now, but I just remember sitting with her one time and her sort of telling me about the story and telling me about her mother's journey. And it's just, I feel sometimes when I talk about the book and I kind of gush over how great I think the story is, I feel like I'm not being totally braggy because I didn't invent this story, and it really is such an incredible story. And it was amazing just to be kind of trusted with those memories.
Yeah.
And kind of put my own spin on it.
No, you're blessed to be able to champion somebody's story that they weren't able to actually bring to light. So I mean, you're kind of given the
custodial.
Yeah. That's the term for it.
Or shepherd for that.
Dina, where are you joining us from? I'm curious.
I'm just north of Chicago in the suburbs.
So it must be, like you said, it must be really important, this event, because if it's going to get you in the car and to Indianapolis to participate in it, like it has to have really a lot of meaning to you. What specific, and you touch on, obviously you have to submit the book and get selected for this event, but why would you encourage people here in Indianapolis and even from north of Chicago to come and attend this event? Like what do you think is going to be really the thing that really sets this event apart from others like it?
Well, I think, and I haven't been to this event yet, but I feel from what I've learned that it has a real personal element to it that and if you're a reader, a fan of great books and reading, and gosh, there's some really great authors and books involved this year with me. It's such a great opportunity to really get kind of up close and personal. A lot of times if you just go to a signing at a bookstore or something, it's just like those few seconds. Hey, what's your name?
Like a drive-by. Yeah,
total drive-by. So this event feels on a much bigger scale, but also on a much more personal level. Is kind of my guess. You get to learn more about the authors, spend more time with them, have lunch with them, and all for a great cause too.
Yeah, for that cause, we want to make sure that the listeners and the watchers of the event realize that the proceeds of the event go to support the Francis Carter Coburn Scholarship Foundation, or Fund, I'm sorry, as well as an educational programs offered through Christamore House, right?
Kara?
Oh, yes.
Maybe.
Sorry, I'm texting.
Kara, we're on a show right now. Would you like to?
Tell us more about, I mean, you've unpacked some of those educational programs, but your attendance there will absolutely help fund these organizations.
Yeah,
so
directly.
So tell us about some of those charities, and on top of that, who other brands that actually help those charities as well.
With the Christamore House Guild. So, well, there's early childhood development and after-school programs, senior citizen services, preventive services, educational ones, maybe about I've seen flyers over there regarding financial health and overall holistic approach to helping the families there. So by being involved with the Christamore House Guild, specifically, you volunteer in those spaces, volunteer at the house monthly, and are really learning the stories of the kids and of the employees there who are just amazing. Everyone that is wrapped around the Christamore House has such a good heart. Definitely woven into the mission there, and those of us that are involved just do whatever we can to help facilitate success for the families in the area.
Well, what's really interesting about this is that this is a charitable organization, a guild, that is giving straight back to the community. This is not a charity that goes large regional. This is
100%. All volunteer, really very little to no overhead. I mean, it's all...
Which is really unique whenever you're dealing with charities, is because they're plugged into a very micro-focused region. And we're seeing more and more of those type of organizations start to spring up in different areas, not only the city, but there's a new reality that can be created with these type of charities directly funding a region that you're trying to connect with, right? So you're seeing local really start to take root from, and you know where your money's going.
Right. Well, and it's a really powerful program to be involved with, and I'm going to ditch my distraction here. So, you have a unique opportunity with Christamore House and through the Guild and their efforts, because you're teaching these kids how to fish. You know, you're providing resources and this amazing experience as that we can provide for them at these earlier stages.
Right.
And Indianapolis really falters in the space of getting people out of poverty. There are some blockers to that. So, for instance, if you're a single mom and you make $16.25 an hour and you get a raise to $16.75 an hour, that person would no longer qualify for childcare for their kids. So it's amazing. And a lot of
kidding?
No, I'm not. It's a true story. True story.
Wow.
I got that from CICF. And so there's the targeted effort with the Guild, which, keep in mind, Christamore House has been around since 110 years ago. It was founded.
Oh, wow.
1908. So it's been targeted from the beginning to specifically help this neighborhood, which 110 years ago wasn't as bad as it is now.
Sure.
Right? And I don't even want to say it that way. I'm sorry. Let me cancel, clear, delete, and back that up a little bit. It's improving. So you have a lot of efforts going on, and there was a time in the 90s when it was Liz Craft Taylor, when she was in charge of she was president of the Indy 500 Festival, said, no, we're not going to run the mini up and down Meridian. No one wants to see these mansions. Let's go out to the track. Let's run through the real part of Indianapolis that a lot of these people don't get to see. And that went right through Hawville, to be clear. So the mini was the one of the first times, I think, that many of those 10,000 runners or whatever experienced Hawville. And I remember running it and seeing things that I'd never seen before. That same year, the first year, it was switched up in the direction. So, but when you have groups like the Guild and you have a need in a community, it's not about let's just go do good and it makes us feel good. Right. So anyone that really wants to do meaningful philanthropic work should read a book called oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the book, but there are several books that focus on basically teaching people how to fish and doing a really meaningful job and not focusing on charity, but lifting people up. Yeah. So there's a big difference. So when you provide some necessity type of support
and skill development,
the programs that help educate and provide that guidance and that mentorship at those young ages, at the after school programs for the families that come in that benefit from the Christamore House, then you're really making an impact. So the Christamore House is doing an amazing job of uplifting the residents in that area. And also consider this, when Mayor Hogsett did his first State of the City address, he chose the gymnasium at Christamore House. It's a really pivotal area. We have a tech company called Kinney Group that's right across the street. There are other businesses around that are starting to come in and asking, develop, but they're not displacing. This isn't gentrification. This is helping the neighborhood. How can we be involved? And I like to think about like Christamore House and other efforts in this space where you kind of give them a pile of Legos and say, build what you want. What works for you?
And gives them the ability to plug into their community in a whole different dimension. And it gives them ownership of that, as opposed to just taking charity, because self-esteem comes from being able to give back and be able to bootstrap not only yourself, but also your community around you. And that's where charities have not gotten it over the years, that it's just not about money. It's about space in which you can actually teach and be able to grow pride in your community, right? Right.
And the book and author event, it's tradition. This is the 37th annual, but it's becoming more casual. It's not so much the cocktail dress concept anymore. It's evolving and partially out of necessity, but partially because that it's more attractive, to people, and It's a fun event every year. And what's so meaningful is authors like Dina Silver and all of these get to share their personal stories, and they're all speaking at the event. You can buy a table with your favorite author.
That's what I was going to touch on too, is
Yeah.
kind of the ticket side of things, because it's not just get a ticket and then you get slotted in where you get slotted in, and you have to sit where you just get filed in. You can purchase things strategically, and you can sit with the author themselves, which is pretty cool.
Right.
So we're going to display the link and tell us more about like kind of the ticket offering and how that works.
Well, you just click and buy.
Well, okay, well.
That's all I got on the tickets.
Fair enough.
We just want you to buy. No, we encourage engagement, and all the books will be for sale at the event. It's a really unique opportunity. We have Angela. I'm sorry, I went to high school with her, so I call her Angie. Angela Buckman is our MC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and we also have a special author reception the evening before. I think there's a couple tickets left for that. And that is going to be in a phenomenal estate. That information is on our website. We're also on Facebook. But it's ChristamoreHouseGuild.org is the website. And then under events, and it even just has book and author as one of our tags.
Yeah, we've got it on the screen right there, ChristamoreGuild.org.
We'll throw it in the notes too.
Book author benefit, but we'll throw it in the show notes as well as in the comment stream. Certainly implore everybody to come out and be able to participate, because it's a very worthy cause. But it's also great to be able to see authors coming from all different areas to be able to contribute into this. Dina, we certainly want to reach out and ask you a little bit about how you came to know about this particular event and what this event means to you.
Well, I'm so glad I don't need a cocktail dress because I don't have one. Yeah, I'm a pants girl. This event I heard about, so I went to Purdue University a few years ago.
Boiler up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one of my girlfriends, one of my Kappa Kappa Gamma sisters, lives in Indianapolis, and I think was on the board of the guild or the event at that time. I think it was about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got a lot of friends from college who live in the area. So I'm super excited because I really haven't been to Indy in years. I haven't been back to Purdue in years either. I'm a terrible alumni.
Alumnus.
So she told me
that was Kara who said that, not me.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
I'm unoffendable. So she had told me about the event. I can't remember. It was a while ago. There's kind of not strict, but there's restrictions for the authors and the event as far as when your book comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my book didn't meet the standards for that year. But I've just been kind of following the event every year, and they get killer talent. I mean, again, I am so honored to be part of this author panel, because every year the caliber of authors who are in attendance are phenomenal, in my opinion. So I'm thrilled to meet the other authors, and I can't wait to be there. Ooh, that's a little annoying. I never answer my landline. I don't even know why it rings. Okay.
Get that closer to the speaker.
It's a telemarketer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Dina, it's also very important to point out on this event, about this event, that since it started, it has actually raised over $2 million and provided scholarships to more than 950 students pursuing undergraduate degrees, postgrad, and vocational training. That's huge.
That's huge.
It's a lot of students served, for sure.
Absolutely.
As far as Christamore House Guild membership, I think that's also really important to touch on, because if, say, people want to really tie in and get involved with that organization, can you tell us more about what that kind of looks like and what members do?
Well, we volunteer, and whatever your time, talent, treasure, whatever you want to do is up to you. How involved or uninvolved you'd like to be, but just participate. That's up to the individual. Mm-hmm. So I recommend going to the website and then reaching out, or following us on Facebook, and then reaching out that way, or someone can reach out to me directly, whatever.
I was going to say, and surely I can put them in touch with you, Kara.
Right,
Yep.
Exactly.
So, I mean, there's a twofold initiative. Obviously, you want to be part of the event, and that event's coming up April 20th. You can find out all the information with the link that we have down there, ChristamoreGuild.org. You can also find out about the organization and get inspired about this organization, because there certainly is a need for these type of charitable organizations that give back to different areas of Indianapolis, because there's certainly a need out there. And if you're wired that way to be able to start up an organization like that, I mean, use Christamore Guild as a huge inspiration, because if you can give back and can plug into local, you're gratified so much more than any national type of charity. And nothing against them, but you want to have our community be able to plug back in and give, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many, there's no shortage of opportunity for engagement anywhere. It's just a question of where your passion lies, where you want to help, how you want to help, and where you think you can serve most efficiently.
Excellent. Dina, last question. I want to circle around to you. You have had 6 books published. Yeah. Congratulations on that. That is fantastic. Hey. What's it like to be a published author like that, to be able to have that wake behind you?
It's incredible. My son is 15, and he just this year started being impressed by me.
It's right on time, I think. That's right on time.
So I think that's maybe the best thing to happen out of all of it. My brass ring is to write a screenplay and to one day see one of my books turned into a movie. So I love doing it. I feel just blessed with the opportunities that I've had and the stories that I've been able to tell. Mm-hmm. And it's just really fun. It's one of those things that just kind of happened organically. I worked in advertising as a writer, and I wanted to write a screenplay. And someone said to me, "Why don't you try and write a novel first, and maybe it'll be picked up and made into a movie." So that's the plan. It just hasn't happened yet.
Well, I am certain you are on your trajectory to be able to do that. So congrats to you. And we certainly recommend picking up your book. It's a fantastic read, as I hear. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to be on my way to the bookstore to be able to pick one up and consume it. Because,
or if you'd like to send us signed copies, that's also okay. We
would
also accept those as well.
I'm not seeing you at the event.
What'd she say?
She's asking if she's going to see you at the event. You're supposed to buy tickets and say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's another way. I also like free books. So
I'll bring one.
Well, kudos, Dina, to give back to your community, and it was great to be able to see an Indianapolis member come back around and give back. So we need you back here, not in Chicago. What's going on there?
I'm coming.
All right.
There's a lot of restaurants you need to get to, too. So
I know. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I mean that wholeheartedly. I've been so excited for this event. I cannot wait. And to be there again and see all my girls in the neighborhood. So it'll be fun.
All right. So for all of our audience, we want to make sure you check out Christamore House Guild at ChristamoreGuild.org and go there, get a ticket to the event. It's a cool event coming up April 20th. And you can also check out on Facebook, Christamore House Guild, as well as on Twitter at CH Guild. So dive in there and interact with this great organization that's giving back to its local locality. It's local locality. It's region.
Local localities. Also, Kara, if they want to connect with you and ask you questions, how can people find you?
Kara at Kara Kavensky. Of course, my last name is extremely easy to spell. And that's my. They can DM me at KaraKavensky.
Shoot her a DM, she said. Slip into her DMs.
Alrighty. Well, thanks so much, Kara, for bringing this to our attention, and we certainly support your involvement there. And if I can't be there, we're going to certainly lift you up on social as the event comes closer.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome. All right. Coming up, we're going to be talking to some that you really don't want to DM, but it might be.
You might DM him too.
Oddly enough, he'll probably DM you right back too.
Right away. Right away.
That's Going on the Edge with Paul Poteet coming up right after this.